Hello beautiful, welcome back. My name is Bettina. If you aren't around here, in today's video I am here to bring you my quarter update on my plan to pan for 2025. I'm a little bit embarrassed to share this with you. So if you want to see how I'm going with my products that I am trying to pan or finish in 2025, then stay tuned. But before we get into the video, if you do love watching project panning related content or any other beauty related content, make sure you subscribe down below and let's jump on into the update. So like I said, I am a little bit embarrassed to share this with you because I have a lot of products in here that I have not even touched since I announced my plan to pan, which is not uncommon because I kind of try and do it a little bit methodically in terms of either having 4 items from each category or knowing how many products I can pan from a specific category in a year, and I will just slowly work through one at a time, use them until I finish them up, and then rotate in the next product. So that's kind of why we don't have much progress on a lot of these products, and this also serves as a good reminder for me. I quite often will forget sometimes about products that I want to pan or have included in this specific project, and it's always a good reminder when I do quarterly updates of what products I had intended to try and use up at the start of the year and that I have neglected. So let's jump on into it. So I have my notebook here. So in my notebook, I have not 1, not 2, but 3 pages of products that I am trying to pan or finish up in 2025. And almost an entire page is just lip products. And I know it's not a very small notebook. But it's still a lot of lip products. Anyway, actually, let's count them because I don't think I counted them in the first intro. So let's actually see how many lip products are on this list this year. Okay, so I don't want to drop this. There's 14 products. 14 products on this list of plan to pan for 2025. I should have just rounded it up and grabbed out 15 products. Actually, I think there is 15 because I just realized I've forgotten to grab a product. So there's 15. Give me a second. So I am actually trying to pan 15 lip products this year, which not the smartest on my part. But I mean, even though I haven't finished a lip product yet, I think I'm fairly close on at least maybe 3/4 of these. So we're not doing too bad, I don't think, in reality. So let's go through them and see. I'm going to probably only show you closer up photos of, or closer up of the ones that I've actually touched or the ones that I've actually used or that I know that I've used. Otherwise we're going to be here for an eternity. So Nars Dolce Vita lip balm, I have not used this one at all this quarter. Same with my Bareminerals Petal lipstick, haven't used this one either. This is one of the lipsticks that I'm planning on rotating in at some point once it's time for a new lipstick. Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Hot Chocolate, unfortunately haven't used this one either. Tower 28 Lip Gloss in Siamese, I probably have used this one a little bit. As you can see, there is a little bit of a gap at the top there. So I've probably used maybe a quarter of this one overall. This one I definitely want to try and focus on at some point this year, just because I know Tower 28 lip glosses, people say they kind of go off a lot quicker. So that's the main reason why I included it in this project this year, because I don't want it to go to waste before, I don't want it to go off before I get a chance to use it up, because it is actually a really nice gloss. Then we have my Burmese Dream lip oils, of which I still have 3. In terms of the one Juicy, I haven't used this one bar possibly a handful of uses. So I don't think they're entirely, actually, I'm going to come back to the Burmese Dream lip oils so I can stand them up, let them settle a little bit, and then we can actually see exactly how much progress I've made. 2 Hourglass lipsticks. The first one is the color True Love Means. I haven't used this one at all, but I have included At Dawn in my Team Project pan. So I have used this one and I'm very impressed. I very annoyingly broke this one this past week. So it's looking a bit ratchet in the bullet. It's looking kind of gross, but and it's also making it very difficult to apply now because I have to almost like have it basically like completely wound down and only apply a little bit at a time. Otherwise it pops out of the bullet again. But this is how much I have left. I reckon maybe like a month and a half on this one and I'll have it completely finished. This one has taken me longer than I had anticipated and that I had hoped. It is what it is. This one, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see, but when I have it wound down, like I've used up quite a lot. Hopefully I can find a photo of what this one looked like when it rolled in. Actually, I will have my little tracking sheet, so you'll be able to see how much product I've used since the start of the year. And it's quite impressive, if I do say so myself. So I will make sure I include a photo of that for you guys to see. Nars Audacious lipstick in Anita. This is another one that I haven't used. And unfortunately, the way I'm tracking with my lipsticks, because I did include 4 lipsticks with the intention of hopefully trying to use up, 1 1/4. Given that we're now like over our first quarter and I haven't used up that Hourglass lipstick just yet, I have a feeling that potentially at least one of these lipsticks won't get used. In saying that though, I might maybe potentially rotate out the Hourglass if it is dragging on for too long, just so I can move on to another lipstick, because I would like to at least give some love to each of these lipsticks this year if I can't get them all used up at least this year. So I might at least try and use up in their entirety the 2 Hourglass. And then when it comes to the Bareminerals, I'm going to gauge how I go in terms of progress and use to see how quickly I'm getting through it. And then the Nars, I really don't think I will have this one finished at all this year, but I would at least like to get some use on it because the Nars is actually a beautiful formula and it was an expensive lipstick. So I want to make sure I also get some use out of it. The next one is one that I'm actually getting quite close to finishing. I'm actually kind of a little bit annoyed that it's not finished yet, but I'm still getting lip balm out of this one when I squeeze it. So this is the Glossier Birthday Balm.com. There's still some product left in there. I think probably maybe like one week, maybe 1.5 weeks, and this one will be finished by the next update of this particular project. When I let you know how I'm going on these products, this one I think will 100% be finished, which is exciting. Then we have my Charlotte Tilbury Happy Berry Lip Balm. This one as well, I haven't been using at all, just purely because I've been really focusing on the Glossier. So once this one gets finished, I'm either going to rotate in my Nars or the Charlotte Tilbury as the primary lip gloss or lip balm, and then work through that. And lastly, we have my Bareminerals Marvellous Moxie lip glosses. These 2 here, so Femme Fatale and Smooth Talker, I haven't used either of those, but I have been focusing a little bit on the color Head Turner. And I don't know if you can see, there is a black line there, which is where I was at my last update from for my Team Project pan. But you can see now that we are starting to see through the packaging, which is very exciting. These ones, once you start to like get some progress on them, they just become really satisfying to pan. And that's where we're at now. It's getting really satisfying to pan. I think by the next update on my Team Project pan, I may actually be sitting at like halfway on this one, which is very exciting because I am behind schedule on trying to pan these Marvellous Moxie lip glosses. So I need to pull my socks up and get back on track. Then moving back to my Burmese Dream lip oils. So the color Juicy, I don't know if you can see there, but we do have a little bit of a gap at the top there. I haven't used this one very much at all. My main focus has actually been the one Peachy, And as you can see, we're like 2/3 of the way through. We're almost on the home stretch with this one. I probably will take the stopper out at some point, but there's not much product left in there. This one I've been really enjoying. I really enjoy the Burmese Dream lip oils, but you can't actually get them in Australia anymore. So once I use these up, it's done and dusted, but they are actually a really nice lip oil formula. And then I don't know if you can tell, this one is Gold Digger. This particular formula, although it's from the same line, I find this one is a lot thicker than the other two lip oils that I have. These two are more like an oil consistency, whereas this one I find is more kind of like a soft jelly consistency. So it is a bit thicker, but I don't know if you can see, there is quite a decent amount of product used in there. I was using this one quite consistently at one point in the quarter, just because I really actually enjoy the scent of this one. But it smells like candy. It smells so good. It smells like candy. It's beautiful. This one, I do find I need to be more careful about how much I apply, just because of that difference in the formula. It feels almost like gloopy on the lips if you apply too much. So those are all the lip products. I'm not doing too well, but I believe that I will have the Glossier will be finished within a couple of weeks, the Burmese Dream as well, and the Hourglass lipstick, like probably another month or so on that one, and that one will be finished. And then we can definitely, next update, we'll see a few lip products finally ticked off the list. They can take a while, lip products. 2 lip liners and 2 eyeliners. I have been using lip liners and eyeliners, but I haven't actually really been focusing in on any specifically with the intent to have them completely used up. So in terms of this particular goal, I am failing miserably at it, because I just haven't been using any from either of those categories consistently enough to see me being close to having any finished. We'll work on it. Along with the next category, I wanted to use up one Laura Mercier caviar stick. I don't believe I have used a single caviar stick this year yet. So this is another category that I need to work on, along with the next one being 2 Stila glitters. Again, I don't believe I've touched a single Stila glitter this year, so we really need to work on that one. And then the next category is 3 nail polishes. I have been using nail polish a little bit, but the 3 that I'm currently working on, I have seen the most woeful progress on those nail polishes probably since my attempt of trying to pan nail polishes. So it's not going very well. I am using them fairly regularly, but not enough to see consistent progress. But I think if I at least continue to keep up with using them the way I currently am, there's a chance that I might at least have 1 or 2 nail polishes finished before the end of the year, which is all I'm hoping for. Moving in to some powder products. So I have been very ambitious across the board, I guess, this year. Probably some would say unrealistic. I probably would agree with you there. But I am always very ambitious when it comes to my project panning. I want to use up at least 1 eyeshadow this year, and I'm currently working on this palette here. This is the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette. I have the color WOS from this palette in my sights. This is what it's looking like now. I don't know if you can see that big pan in the middle there. I definitely think that there is 100% possibility that I will have this one finished this year. I'm almost like hitting side pan at the bottom here. I want to start working my way up the top here as well. I have a ginormous pan. I use this every single day to set my eyeshadow primer. So that's why I am making fantastic progress on this one and really seeing the pan expand on this one like crazy. I also would like to hit the pan on this color Foxy here. I actually kind of mix these a little bit. I don't dip as hard into Foxy because it just has that like too much of a yellow to it. WOS is more my skin tone, but I can mix them together, and I have been doing that just to get some more usage out of that color Foxy there, because it kind of works for an eyeshadow primer setting shade as well. So we're working on that one. I don't think I will have that one finished before the next update, but if we keep tracking the way we're going, it might be like pretty close to being finished. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Sculpture Palette is kind of a little bit of a sneak peek because I only just recently updated you guys on this palette for my Pan That palette. But I am making really good progress. I ended the last update of this palette very disappointed in myself, very down with the lack of progress that I made on it. So since that update, I was like, we are going to see some serious progress between now and the next update of that project. And for that reason, I have like really knuckled in to try and get some more usage on this palette. I'm currently really focusing in on the strobe light powder here to try and get it completely used up. There's only like quite a small amount of powder left on the side here, and then that will mean that there's only the blush in this palette left now. And as you can see, I am starting to expand the pan on that blush a little bit as well. I'm really trying to now like flatten it out a lot more. I'm determined to get this one done. I really, really want to see this one finished before June. I think it's doable if I continue to really focus on it as much as I have been in the past like 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm very happy with how much progress I've made since my last update, or since filming my last update on my Pan That palette. I reckon that highlighter, it's going to be finished very, very soon. I'm so excited. We also have my Tarte Off the Cuff blush palette. Now, my goal for this palette is just to get at least one blush used up in this palette. I am making progress on this palette. I've kind of pulled back from blushes in the last week or so. I filmed my update on my Team Project pan, and I actually realized that I have really set myself up to fail when it comes to panning blushes, because I'm currently trying to pan, or at that point in time, I was working on 8 different blushes at once, which is absolute stupidity. And I didn't really realize that until I sat down and had to think about why I was seeing no progress on all of these palettes and blushes and everything. And then I counted them all up and I was like, that probably explains it. So this palette alone, I have 6 blushes. So there's 2 blushes here. So we've got 2, 4, 6 blushes. So I just want to see one of these finished up this year. And I think there's a chance that I just at the moment have kind of pulled back on this palette a little bit, and I'm more focusing on the Hourglass palette, just because I feel like there's more chance of me having the strobe light finished in this palette sooner. And then for me, in my brain, it just seems ridiculous keeping a 6-pan palette around for just one shade. So I really want to try and have this palette completely finished in its entirety. And then that's when I'm going to really focus in on having one of the blushes used up in this palette. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to my stupidity. I also included 2 other blushes in this. So although I was panning 8 blushes at once between my Team Project pan and my Pan That palette, which I've come to that realization, I also included technically like 9 blushes in my Pan That palette of like what I want to use up and hit pan on this year, which like nobody would ever use 9 blushes in their life in 1 year. So I don't know what I was thinking. I have no idea what I was thinking. But I also included my Milani Luminoso blush and my Nars Deep Throat blush. I included the Nars blush because my Nars packaging on my Nars products in my drawer is getting disgusting. It is like so sticky and gross. All of the packaging on the Nars products that I have in my collection are broken. Like the hinges are broken and they're like sticky all over. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. I think I'm actually going to have a look around in my collection and see if I have enough room in other palettes to actually depot these, because I don't think I can deal with the packaging anymore. I just think that the packaging grosses me out so much, but the thought of like touching this every day to apply blush, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I think I'm going to have a look. I think I have potentially 2 blushes and a highlighter in my collection from Nars that need to be or have gross packaging on them. So if I can find enough room in my empty magnetic palettes for those, I'm going to go ahead and depot these out of the packaging. If that's a video that you would like to see, again, let me know down in the comments. So Nars Deep Throat, my goal on this one is just to hit pan, but I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think this is one of those goals that I'll probably just abandon and maybe revisit next year, just because I don't think there's a chance in hell that I could hit pan on this one this year, especially given I want to finish the Hourglass palette. I want to use up a blush in the Tarte palette, and I also want to work on Milani Luminoso. I just don't think there's a chance that I could hit pan on that one. So that's probably one that I will abandon at some point in the year. At this stage, I'm going to keep it in, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Then my Milani Luminoso. I think we're in with a chance with this one if I don't get bored with it. If I get bored with this one, then we might find ourselves in some muddy water. But it is starting to flatten down a little bit. I don't know whether you can tell there, but I also am seeing it starting to like come away from around the edge here. Like it's starting to diminish or like decrease and work in. So I just feel like I reckon there's a chance that maybe I could see some of the waffle pan this year, or maybe even sometime soon, maybe before the next update, maybe before the end of the next quarter. I am very happy with how it's looking, and I don't know if you can see, I just noticed the like texture of the pan. It's almost like it's starting to show that we're getting really close to the bottom, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to continue on with this. I'm going to continue to power through. I have really noticeable difference with this pan now. Every time I like look at it closely in the updates, I am really starting to see and notice that it's looking different each time, and it's really starting to flatten out. I reckon we'll see waffle soon. Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. I'm also making great progress on this one. I have increased and expanded the pan quite considerably on this one. I think I'm getting to the point where I will have to repress this one. I'm going to try and leave it for as long as I can, because I just know once you repress products, they're just not really the same as what they were from when they were originally pressed. So I want to try and leave it as long as I possibly can. I'm going to try and expand the pan a little bit more before I make that decision to finally repress it. But I do think that it is getting close to needing a repress. And I think since the start of the year, I think from memory, this middle circle wasn't fully exposed yet. So I have widened the pan to the point where we can see the second ring of the pan in the product. I also set another lofty goal of trying to hit pan in the rest of my Bareminerals Aurora Lights palette. I think when I wrote this into my project for this year, I think I was under the impression that I had more pans on this than I do currently. I do currently have 6 pans in this one, but it is a 18 pan eyeshadow palette. So I just think in my mind when I wrote this goal down, I think I was thinking that I was closer or further through the 18 pans than I currently am. So I still have 12 pans to hit in this palette, which is actually quite a big feat. A few that have dips, and there are maybe 2 that are close to hitting pan, but I just don't think it's realistic that I can hit pan in the rest of this palette by the end of the year, especially given that there is a black in here as well. Maybe I could try tight lining a lot or do some wings with shadow, but I don't love that look. So I think I shot myself in the foot with this one. If I could get maybe it up to at least half of the palette with pan, I think that's probably a more realistic goal. But I am still going to give it a try and see if I can reach it. It's just these 6 here. These 6 here really humble me because they're not colors that I really reach for organically. They're more kind of challenging colors to wear consistently to the point of where you would potentially be able to hit pan. So we'll see how we go with this one. But I have got a really good dip in the color Santorini here. There's also a dip in Presto. So there's potential that I could hit pan on those ones quite soon, but I just haven't really been focusing on it or using it enough to hit any pans on it just yet. This just adds to the rest of the lunacy. I also included my Milk Makeup bronzer stick and cream blush. So we included 10 blushes in this project this year. How smart am I? So I have used the bronzer stick a little bit since the start of the year, but I don't believe I've touched the blush at all. So that's how we're looking with the bronzer stick. I mean, if I realistically use this one, there's a potential that I could have it finished, but I just haven't. I kept them in my daily makeup drawer, but I just haven't used them. That's, you know, there was intention, just zero follow through. Okay, my last like eyeshadow kind of based products are my two primers. So I've been working on my Pat McGrath Labs Intensifies Artistry Wand and my Nars Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Primer. I realized today when I was doing my makeup that there is a shit ton of product left in this like little tube. So I finally got to the point where I'd like used up all of the product that was on the wand. So I did like a little scraperoo of the sides around the cap, and holy moly, there was a lot of product. So we're now back to having a lot of product chopped up on the wand, but I don't know if you can see like look how much product I just like scooped out then. There is so much product left in this tube. This one's going to last me like until the end of the year, maybe even longer. There's just so much product in there. And then my Pat McGrath Labs Artistry Wand. This is how much we have left of the Pat McGrath Labs wand. There's still heaps of product left in there. So this one's going to last me for ages. Ages. I use it pretty consistently too. It's just that I don't need much when I use it. So even like I click it probably, you know, a handful of times a month, but just because you don't use very much, it's going to take a very long time to get through. It still works and it still does a very good job. So I'm not mad about it. It's just taking a long time, and I think it will take a long time to finish up. Glossier Stretch Concealer. I'm still working through this one. I am noticing again, this is another product that I kind of am now at the point where every time I open it up each month and I have a really good look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can actually really see the progress on this one. I still use it like every day when I do my work makeup. I really don't love this concealer. I don't really understand why I got so much hype in the day, but it is what it is. I've got it. I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use it up and work my way through it. I still have a very large amount of product in there. So I think maybe potentially by June, it might maybe be looking like I've got half left, or half. I might have like what's left halved. But I definitely think that this one will probably last me most of the year. And I only use quite a small amount when I use it. So it's quite a like creamy emollient concealer. So I don't need much when I use it. And if I do use too much of it, it creases like crazy. So I've got to be careful with it. I did rotate in 4 foundations that I want to use up this year, just purely because all of these foundations are coming up to their 2nd birthday this year. And I want to try and get them used up as quickly as possible. My MAC Studio Radiance Radiant Sheer Foundation and my Dubious Place I Am Magic Foundation. I am currently working on these ones in my full face rolling project pan for the year. I have made some decent progress on these ones since the start of the year. I do feel like though that they still have quite a ways to go. The MAC has dropped a little bit from this bottom line, and this is how much I have left of the Dubious Place. So I do think that I have quite a number of months. I want to say probably at least 2 to 3 months left on these, just because I mix them when I do use them, and I use probably maybe like half to 3/4 of a pump of the Dubious Place, and I only literally use 3 to 4 drops of the MAC. So I am working through these very slowly because I am mixing them, but I am happy to see the progress that I'm making on these. I think I will almost be at the point soon on the Dubious Place where I will start to see like through the packaging at the bottom here. So that's those ones. And then I also have Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. I've actually used a decent amount of this one since the start of the year. I want to say maybe I've used maybe like a third to a half of this one. So it is starting to, the packaging is starting to like come in. It's an airless pump. These are very satisfying to project pan. So, and you can see there's like a bit of a window through the middle there. I actually wore this one quite a lot through the end of January and start of February because I did take this one away with me when I went away for work, just because it was super easy to use. I just could pump it in my hand and slap it on my face and be out the door really quickly. So I do really enjoy this product and I have been utilizing it a little bit and I'm seeing some really great progress on that one. The Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. This is one that I have been using on and off. I am sitting like, I think it's around about here when the foundation is fully settled. I am wearing this on my face today. I quite often reach for this when I want my makeup to look really nice or last a really nice amount of time because I just find the longevity and the appearance on this one is like top notch. So I reserve this one for when I want my foundation to look like mint. And I have used it a little bit, but not as much as the other three, just because I have been reserving this one for special occasions. While I've got other foundations that I can just use kind of willy-nilly for work and whatnot, I will use those ones up and then I'll move on to the Haus Labs. I also have the corresponding Haus Labs powder. This is the Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. I'm also wearing this one today over the Haus Labs powder. I'm not really making any like emphasized effort to use this one up just yet, just purely because I think this powder works best with its like matching foundation. They've kind of been formulated to work together well. So I don't want to waste this on other foundations when I have like the product that it's designed to work best with. So I use these as like a little duo. Every time I use the Haus Labs foundation, I use the Haus Labs powder, vice versa. I have used this one a little bit, but again, haven't made any concerted effort to focus on that one and use it up just because the Haus Labs is not in the firing line just yet. Tatcha Dewy Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. I haven't used this one very much. I've only used it a little bit. Actually, am I too dewy today for this? Probably. Let's spray a little bit on. Why not? Let's look a little bit more glowy. What could go wrong? I am finding this one difficult to use just because sometimes it makes my skin too glowy and my skin is already naturally like oily and dewy. And then when I apply this, sometimes I just feel like it makes me look like a greasy mess. Sometimes I feel like the dew is like creeping on the point of grease. And if I use this with the wrong foundation and like powder combo, it just emphasizes that. So I don't want to look like I have like walked through the McDonald's kitchen. My Sol de Janeiro Perfume Mist. I am working through this one slowly. I'm sitting about 2/3 of the way through it. I definitely will have this one finished before, you know, the mid-year update. I was working on other perfumes in my collection, like samples and rollerballs, since the start of the year in combined with this one, just because they were perfumes that I was not attached to. So I wanted to get those ones finished before moving on to this one. I'm making great progress on this one now that this is my sole perfume that I am working on at the moment. I guess pun intended. This is the only one I'm currently working on, so I think I'll have this one finished pretty quickly. I find that I go through those ones fairly quickly once when I'm using that and only that. I've got 2 skincare products in here that I'm really not doing very well with. I keep forgetting to put these ones back in my bathroom once I've done my Project Pan updates. It's the Andalou Naturals Deep Wrinkle Dermal Filler and the Mary Kay Spot Solution for acne prone skin. I'm trying. I'm really trying with these. These just don't like organically incorporate into my skincare routine just yet. So I have to like make a conscious effort to use these. My Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. This one I'm having a lot of trouble with just because a little bit goes a long way with this product. So I'm finding that I just am not seeing any progress on this one. It's going to take a while to get through. It is like a 15 ml tub and there's a lot of product in there. So I'm just going to have to continue to plot away at this one and make little progress by little progress. This one I think is going to take me a while to get through. Last but not least is hair care products, of which there are quite a few. This is actually the most successful category, which is not the status quo for me. Traditionally, in the past, hair care products have taken me an eternity to get through, but in the last few years, I've managed to really find my groove with hair care products, and I think that this year's going to be probably no exception. So I'm currently working on quite a lot of like curly hair products. A lot of them are like the smaller sample travel sizes that I purchased when I was in America. So I'm just trying to get those finished and used up. And then I can start like dabbling and trying other new curly hair products because I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to try something new when it comes to curly hair. So I'm motivated to get these ones finished and used up. Let's start with my Juice Stuck Up Stronghold Hairspray. I've actually been using this. I know that's a surprise, but I've actually been using this and I'm seeing the weight start to drop. It is still very slow progress, but I mean, progress is progress. So this one, I don't think will be finished by the next update, maybe the one after. Definitely, I think by the end of the year, if I keep going the way I'm going though. We also have my Not Your Mother's Curl Talk Defining Cream. Haven't really used this one just yet. It hasn't really rotated in to be the focus product just yet. But when I do, look out. It's got to be done quickly. Currently, this is my focus curling product. This is the Not Your Mother's Activating Curl Talk Mousse. I think I'm getting through it fairly quickly. We'll see. Like, this is really the first month now that I have been focusing on this one and using this one, and it's been like my focus curly hair product. So the weight drop between last month and next month, or this month and next month, will be the indicator to see exactly how quickly I'm going to get through this one. But I have actually really been enjoying this product. I think it actually, I don't know, I feel like it holds the curl quite nicely. I'm still having trouble with the top part of my hair. I think that's because I am well and truly overdue for a haircut. I have one booked in later this month, so hopefully the hair will be on fleek again at that point. But at the moment, I'm fighting a losing battle just because I know we're way overdue for a haircut and it's just really starting to weigh down. Turns out curly hair, you got to get it cut regularly, and I'm just too lazy for regular haircuts. So this one I have been enjoying. It's a mousse, so sometimes mousse products can be quite deceptive with how much product is left in there. So we'll see how we go on that one. But I definitely think potentially done by mid-year. And then we also have two products from Diva Curl. So we have the Diva Curl Diva Fresh. I also have the Diva Curl Styling Cream, which I haven't used either. So I've actually got three products from Diva Curl. I didn't grab the other one out. I've got the Diva Curl Light Defining Gel. I've used this one a little bit. I think I'm sitting potentially around like halfway on this one. Maybe just... The black line is where it started when I rotated it into my project pan, and that was only this month. So it's just whatever usage I've done on it since like a week ago, which isn't much, I will tell you that. And then the Diva Curl Diva Fresh as well. I'm sitting about halfway. I don't use this one very much, but I definitely will get it done before the end of the year. And then also my Diva Curl Styling Cream, I haven't used that one either. I have like two creams that I haven't really touched. So once I use up the Curl Talk Mousse, I think I'm going to rotate in the Diva Curl Styling Cream to be my focus product, just because I'm sure it probably is designed to work well with their defining gel. I think that's probably a good combo. So that's what we'll do. And then the last two products, which are actually Empties. So I finally managed to use up my Davines Curl Building Serum. I used this one up. I think I finished it in February. So there's that one finished. And I also used up my Not Your Mother's Curl Talk Sculpting Gel, which is like a hair gel from Not Your Mother's. Got that one finished. I finished both of these the exact same time when I was doing my hair. Anyway, and I also have my eyeshadow pan goal and my sample goal. So this quarter, not very successful. So if you did see my intro, I'm wanting to use up 50 samples, and I'm also wanting to hit 40 eyeshadow pans this year. So I'm very behind on both of those. I've only used up 6 samples since the start of the year, and I've only hit pan on 5 eyeshadows since the start of the year. So I'm exactly half of the way to the progress that I need to be at now. I should have should have hit pan on 10 eyeshadows by now, but I've only hit pan on 5. I don't know what to say. I'm very upset. I don't think I'm going to hit 40 pans this year. I'm coming to the realization now, I don't think I'm going to hit 40 pans. If I could hit 30 maybe, that would be exciting, but I also don't know if I'm going to hit 30. So stay tuned for the eyeshadow pan progress. And then samples, I've only used up 6 samples since the start of the year. I do have a few samples in my skincare that I know I'm getting close to using up. So I think by the next quarter, that number will jump a decent amount, fingers crossed. So we'll see how we go then, but I'm not doing very well with either of those. I've actually, with my eyeshadows, I think I've rotated some difficult eyeshadows in my Pan Those eyeshadows since the start of the year. So I'm not making very good progress in that aspect. And then I don't know, I'm just not doing very well in either of them. I'm really hopeful that next quarter will be more successful and I'll have maybe at least like 5 to 6 empties for you. That would be very exciting. So stay tuned for that update. If you do want to keep up to date on all my Project Pan updates that I'll be doing throughout the year, make sure you subscribe down below. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments how you're going on your products that you are hoping to use up and have finished before the end of the year. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, beautiful.